Altenberg in Germany, ready for the second and deciding heat in the third World Cup race of the Viessmann FIBT women's bobsleigh season. And it is home ground for the green flags of Saxony and Germany's Kathleen Martini. She lies in a medal position after the first of our two heats. Martin Haven and John Morgan here trackside in a cold and blustery Altenberg at the track that is one of the most demanding in the business, John.
You'll see that in the highlights of the first run. No crashes, but this Belgian bullets, as we call him, Viessmann, the driver, way back in the starts, bottom part of the track, no one could match her downtime, and she stands in a position to win her first World Cup medal ever. And if she drives like she did at the first run, she will. But Kathleen Martini, Jenny Tischer, this team won on this track numerous of times. This is her home track. She's born and raised half a mile away from this facility. And this is her last competition. She's retiring at the end of this year. So this is her last competition on her home track. What a way for her to go out if she could medal. And the United States team of Myers and Garrett. Wow, they shattered the start record in the first 50 meters. Down the track, Alana starting to prove she can drive with the best of them. Took her BMW sled and flew to the bottom and has got a comfortable lead. But Martin, 18/100ths of a lead over Martini on her home track. It's not money in the bank yet.
Not yet. Only half the job has been done, but Alana Myers-Taylor has the lead from Kathleen Martini and Alpha Viessmann. Olympic champion Kaylee Humphries lies fourth, and Anja Schneider-Hein is fifth for Germany, with Stephanie Schurig, her teammate, a few hundreds behind her in sixth position. 13 sleds all made it safely down the track. There were a couple of little worries, and there you see Jamie Greubel-Poser, Alana Myers in the background. Probably a little text to husband Nick back home in the US. Air temperatures +4, ice is barely freezing. It's a little frosty as well. The refrigeration is cranked on hard to stop the ice melting away. This car park yesterday, John, was white with snow. Overnight rain was heavy and prolonged, and it was black ice this morning. There's Kaylee Humphries, your Olympic champion, warming up.
She's wearing those red warm-up pants. That's another new technology that they're bringing into the sport.
Fans all over the track. Green of Saxony is a very big thing here, this southeastern region of Germany. Nadia Sergeyeva of Russia will be the first off with her brand new rookie brakewoman, and she was the last in the first heat, so we go last to fast with Alana Myers-Taylor, last to go out of the start shed, defending what is really a slender lead over hometown queen Kathleen Martini. But if Alana and her brakewoman Sherelle Garrett can bust the track start record again, they may have a chance to take a third straight gold of the season. Well, Alana Myers undefeated, but the yellow jerseys, the yellow vests here, that is the German Federation team, and all those green flags. Bob Club Kathleen Martini, they'd be very, very pleased to see their girl on the podium, but preferably on the top step here. Getting our race underway, the second and deciding heat here in Altenberg in Germany. Round 3 of the FIBT Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. Nadia Sergeyeva and Anna Parfanova on her World Cup debut behind this young Russian driver.
That's the brakeman's World Cup debut, as you said. Strong track and field athlete. Every Russian comes in for the headshots. We ask them what athletic background they come from. They all come from track and field. They all come from sprint. The Russians have put some great athletes in the bob and skeleton program, and this morning the women's skeleton, the Russians took 2 of the 3 medals, including the gold.
A mighty impressive performance from them, and of course their bobsledding was very strong in the men's game. Women not quite so.
They're coming. This is a good track and field athlete in the front seat who just started driving last year. This is, watch out now, this is the dangerous part of the track. Watch this 2-corner combination right here, 11-12. That is a challenge.
2 seconds behind the leader. She had a very wild first run.
This is
looking much tidier. 1:12.6 is decent speed, 70 miles an hour exactly into the final 2 corners, and a 59.6 run. Well, that's 2/10 slower than her first heat, but it was a tidier looking run. She had a couple of big skids up top, and John, when you're going slowest, it actually costs you more than when you're going faster.
Especially on this track. Martin, I think the ice is getting softer. I think they have more grip than they want. They practiced all week long in colder temperatures. So, you know, you're supposed to play like you practice, but they hadn't have a chance to practice on soft ice. Look at the runner tip. She's got a skid, no control going down this straightaway into the big Kreisel curve. Kreisel, this is the exit of 13, into this straightaway 14. Again, skidding like that across the ice, not good in the sport of bobsledding.
She doesn't panic, doesn't try and overdrive it, just lets the skid dial itself out. So the coaches are teaching them the right thing. Don't panic. Nadia Sergeyeva of Russia leads. Misha McNeill for the Northeast from Newcastle Tyne-and-Wear, with Alicia Kiddle on the back of the GB sled. McNeill, junior Olympic medalist in Eagles, Austria.
Still a teenager, or is she 20?
20 now.
20 years old.
Still a 22 now, Misha McNeill.
Did not have a textbook drive down the track in the first run. 10th best start, 593, 592 here. She had a little tap right here in the first heat. This looks great. Now this Omega curve. These skeleton people had some real challenges here in this two-quarter combination. She tapped on the entrance to 5, 6/10 of a lead. It's going to be pretty hard to throw that away, but if there's ever a track that you could throw it away on, this is it.
Clean exit of 9. Good run down the straightaway into the Kreisel. Full 360 degrees, drops down, climbs, and then drops downhill again underneath itself on the exit.
Oh, watch out. She tapped on the take-on going in. A lot of steering. 11, 12, 13.
Way faster than the Russians. 4 kilometers an hour quicker. This is a much better run than her first.
She was one of many teams that crashed in training. This track, very similar to Darlington in NASCAR. The track they call it's too tough to tame. Lady in black, all of that NASCAR tradition stuff applies to the track here in Altenberg.
58.59. She came down 58.95 in her first heat, so very nearly 4/10 of a second quicker, 5/10 of a second quicker nearly, so much neater looking run.
Yeah, if she would have done this in the first run, she'd have been up in the top 6 or 7. Again, 22 years old. She's got 4 or 5 years of driving already. A lot of promise in the British program for this young pilot. Look at the sled climb here. Now watch the runner tips here on the exit. Take a look. This is the exit of 9 into Kreisel. Clean. Look at that. That's a little tap
panic,
here.
no drama.
Very good. Much better than her first run.
There is Misha, and she moves into the leader box with Alicia Kiddle. Top of the track in Altenberg, Germany. Anne van Nieuwenhuis with Lies de Freyne, the second of our Belgian sleds. First World Cup race of the season for them. They have been racing before Christmas, but here in Europe, not on the World Cup stage.
.375 spikes on the bottom of them shoes, 1/16 of an inch. That's the grip that they get to sprint across the ice, get in about 20 miles an hour. Very interesting to brakeman, de Freyne. I told the story in the first run. All the athletes come in for headshots. We ask them their favorite athlete. We ask them what athletic background they come from. The brakeman, de Freyne, is the first one ever she says that she came from a judo background. Everybody's from track and field, rugby, soccer, skiing. First one ever that tells us it's from judo.
Well, they always say don't argue with bobsledders when they're in a bunch. Don't argue with her either. You won't get 3 falls or a submission. Well, this second Belgian sled, 11th after the first heat now. She's just moved into the lead over Misha McNeill of Great Britain, who was behind her in 12th by 2/10 of a second.
A lot of steering.
Oh, very wild. She almost wrecked there in the first heat, almost wrecked again, and that might rob her of the speed she needs. Hit the short wall.
Watch out, she's still not down yet. Show her she got through there with lots of steering. No, it's going to be close. I think she's throwing this all away.
This sled is still fast at the bottom, and she just holds on.
Oh, that was a lot of time she gave up. But you know what? She's so happy to see Altenberg in her rearview mirror. This is her World Cup debut. She's got some promise.
58.74, 58.75 in the first heat. Hits the cameraman down at the bottom there. And the same near miss out of 12.
Look at these pictures. Compelling. You want to see how to drive a bobsled? Well, this might not how to do it. Look at her motion in the sled. But you know, she didn't panic. She was real late. She tapped going in. And then here's the straightaway down to 14, the last speed trap, and she comes off there too late. but she had problems 200 yards up in front of that. And the problems just compound on this track. And they don't finish until they get out of the sled.
Well, there is Anne, and she is our race leader. Next up, another first World Cup race of the season. This is Christina Hoster of Austria. She's been a World Cup regular before, but again, raced pre-Christmas, not in North America. Well, she was in 10th place after heat 1 of 2.
8th best start time, first run, 5.90, should be 88. 90, exact same start time as the first run. Hangster had a lot of promise going a couple years ago. She won a World Cup medal. And then last year, the Olympic year, just a lot of soft results. Ooh, that's a real high line. She doesn't tap going into 5. Her whole career is going to come down to the 2016 World Championships in Eagles, right above Austria. A year from now, Austrians are really, look at her play with the runners there. Austrians are really building their program for success at that event.
Well, they need to build it fast.
Ooh, that's a little rough through their 11-12, but you know, this is the lady in black track.
Gap's coming down, but she's still faster than the Belgians at the bottom.
Should be enough. This is the type of driving you expect out of Hangster, 58-52. And that's the exact same time as she had in the first run.
Yep, the Belgians were only 100th difference in their 2 heats, despite that near crash. Hangster, 2 identically timed trips. Tell you what, the Belgians will be happy to get out the leaders box. It's very bitter in the wind here this morning. Eleni Nikitina, who took the bronze in the women's skeleton race, was shivering uncontrollably at the finish.
Well, there's the straightaway we keep going to. Look at watch the runner tips here. Watch her play to try and get control of the sled. She got the back end going, and oh, fear. But look how low she is in the cowling. Her eyes, look at that, right on her nose. Crossover picture, she taps on the take-on before you get on this curve. And so she gets through there, but not with a lot of a big change of direction in the sled.
Ninth after the first of our 2 heats here in Altenberg. Jasmine Fenlator of the USA with Natalie Durat on the back of the sled.
5:89 start, first run. Should be close or better. 5:89. Boy, there's a lot of consistency here in this women's bobsled competition today. And this is a challenging track. Jasmine, another one of the athletes who had a chance to crash on the track. It's her first time here. Give her credit all week long. A lot of these athletes, first time here. They didn't compete in Altenberg last year in the World Cup. 1800s lead. She had a pretty rough ride coming up right here in this straightaway. 9 to 10, here we go. Hits, corrects, hits again. Speeds.
Good speed, fastest we've seen so far.
Should be down the left side of the straightaway here. Little tap, good cut. That's great time there. She should start to accelerate here. Last albatross, look at the runner tips. Perfect. Losing a little back, but this should be enough for her to take the lead. Much better run for Fenlator than the first run. Yeah, she accelerates away in the bottom with some really good driving. Brian Scheimer, the coach, looks on. Fenlator, second place in Lake Placid in the first event of the year. Not so good in Calgary. And another athlete, first time on the lady in black. She'll be very happy to see this in a rearview mirror. Look at the rudder tips here. Look at her eyes. Look at the energy coming down the left side of her straightaway. She just tapped on the take on there a little bit, causes her to oversteer here. She comes off there a little late. Well, that mistake was up 100 meters in advance. Speeds before the finish. McNeill, best speeds. Fenlator, second.
Jasmine Fenlator of the USA leads in Altenberg, Germany, with 8 sleds still to come, among whom 3 German sleds and her 2 US teammates. Well, here is Maria Constantine of Romania, one of the surprises of the first heat. 8th fastest for her and brakewoman Andrea Grecu.
They were a big surprise in the first run. I mean, they're in 7th, 8th place, but, you know, 5:94 start.
Well, Grecu's a really tall, long-legged sprinter. She really runs it out fast. 5.94 in the first up, 5.95 in the second. But it was the great drive from Constantine that made the difference.
Her coach, Paul Neagu, from the Romanian program, is helping her a lot. 400's down, a Fenlator. It's going to need to be perfect. Fenlator is excellent here on the bottom part of the track. And these lines are precise.
Fastest speed we've seen.
Exit here, left side of your screen. Watch out, now she's in the middle of the curve. She's got to steer hard here. That's going to erase some time. She's got 1800s in the bank there. Runner tips. Pretty good. Speed, decent.
Little behind the Americans in terms of top speed. She's 1800s up at the penultimate clock. Yes, enough. 500s of a second.
That is unbelievable. Look
There's
at
Coach Paul
Neagu.
Neagu. That man on the left is the reigning Romanian men's bobsled champion.
He's been around since the 84 games in Sarajevo.
I don't know the last time he slid competitively, but he raced in the Romanian championships, beat everyone.
Great job by these. The Romanians have so little to work with, and they get so much. They take nickels and dimes and makes a lot of dollars out of it. This is exit of 9. Kreisel, excuse me.
See the red rag at the top of the picture?
Almost up near the top.
Yep.
Watch the crossover. The take-on is where you get on the curve. Watch her trying to get, look at that bunk. Just flip the sled up in the air. Look how high she gets. That's because she tried to get on that take-on too early. You know, the track that's too tough to tame. You got to be very precise. They're very happy to be where they are.
Jamie Greubel-Poser and Lauren Gibbs of the USA. 7th after the first of our 2 heats here in Altenberg. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action.
As much as the Romanians overachieved in the first heat, I got to say Jamie Greubel-Poser did not do what she needed to do. 575 start, couple hundreds better. Of course, she went late in the run. She's going to need perfect run. If she does have a perfect run here, she could move up 2 or 3 slots.
First time here on this track. This is the hardest track to learn and get the best out of. And the weather's changed all week long as well, making it an extra factor.
This is the Jamie Greubel we expected in the first round. 5/10 lead. Jamie, one of the 6 American drivers here, 3 men and 3 women. 5 of the 6 crashed in practice, a couple of them multiple times. A lot of it's their first time here. Holcomb, the only one, hasn't crashed for the U.S. And, you know, but all the other countries, same thing. The track's got a lot of scalps.
Stunning speed at the bottom. That's the fastest we've seen all day from Jamie Greubel-Poser. Really good second run.
57.67.
That's
wow,
6/10 of a second quicker than, yeah.
That would have put her, look at that time, would have put her in the first run. That would have put her up there in third.
Yep.
So that's what we expect out of Jamie Greubel. She could move up 3 or 4 spots.
Listen to them.
Great run, great run. Playing the music. Now, they do such a fantastic job here. And the fans are like an educated audience. You're like you're in the Montreal Forum watching hockey. Look at the pictures. 13. Exit. Look at the runner tips here. This textbook. Look at her head. Look at her eyes. She's trying to get over on the left side here of our screen to get over on the next take on of the curve. Beautiful run.
Well, that is a great shot for Jamie Greubel to stay in the leader's box. But next up, 2 German sleds. Stephanie Schurek with Erlina Nolte. A new pairing in the World Cup lineup for Germany this season.
This sled underachieved in the first run, second best start time, but to finish where she did, didn't make the Germans very happy about that. 5.78, now that's quite a bit slower, 400 slower.
That's quicker than they started 5.82 in the first heat, so a little slower than their teammate Anja Schneider-Hein. Ooh, and a flop there. Out of 3.
Yeah, I get the wrong German there, you're right. Still, the Germans on this track. Now, this is her first World Cup competition as a driver. She was a brakeman. They have a lot of hope for this young German pilot. She's the youngest of the 3 German pilots. Watch the exit here, left side of our screen. Perfect. Watch the crossover. This should be excellent. Yes, I mean, she nailed that. Now the next albatross right here. Watch the runner tips here. Perfect. Comes over. It's only down to 100, though.
Not as quick as the Americans at the bottom.
This got to be Jamie Greubel. This is going to be red numbers.
She's in the red, and she'll stay in the red. 300ths of a second. Langen couldn't even read it. Come on, Christoph. 57.83 slide for her. Quicker than her first heat, but nearly 2/10 slower on that trip than Jamie Greubel.
300s, almost 2 miles down the track. Randy Spees telling her what she did wrong. This wasn't wrong. Crossover perfect. What, does her head pop up on the pressure point? No, perfectly in the sled. That's a perfect run. But she made a mistake someplace at the bottom, or Greubel was that good. I think Greubel was that good.
Greubel was just very smooth indeed.
There's a last mistake here, a little tap. This causes her to come over to the left, the back end, a little bit of a skid. That's where she lost the 3/400s.
Lots of green flags for Saxony. Jamie Greubel-Poser for the USA, though, leads here. We still have 5 sleds still to come to decide this third World Cup race in Altenberg, Germany. There's your leaders. Well, Jamie Greubel-Poser, married to Christian Poser, who's still a brakeman in the German program, so maybe she'll start to get adopted a little bit by the crowd. I know that Mark Hoster, the track speaker here, and our friend Ron Ringuth, who's down in the finish area, they'll be telling the crowd that she's at least part German now. You've got to look at the positives here.
Well, the women's bobsled and the men's bobsled in the last 12 years, there's been a couple couples and relationships built out of the sport, and it was great when her husband came in. Christian Poster came in for his headshot yesterday. He's on the German program in this swing. We ask every athlete who their favorite athlete is, and he responded, "My favorite athlete is my wife."
Well, you know why? Because he knows it's going to be on the website, and she's going to see it if he says someone else. It better be your favorite athlete. Well, here on this former DDR secret test track. These Germans built this track in secret. It was unknown until the wall finally came down. And they basically tied together the worst, most difficult corners on every track in the world that existed at that stage to try and make a really tough testing ground. They figured if they could race here, then nothing would hold any fears for them. Pretty much right. And this is still as tough a taskmistress as it is possible to find. Here in Europe, Altenberg has the fearsome reputation that Lake Placid enjoys in North America as just a really hard track to drive and to learn.
Mit Jamie Greubel-Poser und Lauren Gibbs.
So Jamie Greubel-Poser with the lead, 300s ahead of Stephanie Schurek. We still have 5 sleds to go and 2 German shots at victory. We'll have to wait and see whether they can pull off a big win here in Altenberg. Altenberg, Germany, welcome back to World Cup number 3 of the women's bobsleigh competition. Martin Haven and John Morgan here. And there on the right-hand side, Jamie Greubel-Poser on the left, her brakewoman Lauren Gibbs. They're your leaders with 5 sleds still to go. First of whom, Anja Schneider-Hein of Germany with brakewoman Franziska Bertels.
You know, this is what Darlington is to NASCAR, Altenberg is to bobsledding. This is a track that's all the athletes have problems with. Schneider-Hein sitting back in 5th place like this, very disappointing. 5:74 start in the first run. 5:72, everybody gets equal or a couple hundredths better. She is just, there's no lets in bobsledding. She has 1 great heat, 1 bad heat. She had a bad first run, so I expect her to do better here, but boy, that exit out of curve 3 wasn't very good. 1600s lead. You know, again, Jamie Greubel smoked her run. This isn't perfect.
1:10.7, same speed as Stephanie Schurek, slower than Jamie Greubel-Poser though.
Good lines. Down to 6, losing speed back. Too much steering maybe.
She was only 1300s over Jamie Greubel-Poser at the
That's not
start.
good.
And she's going to go behind. A double tap there, 1:17.2, slower than the American sled. She won't find it at the bottom of the track. In the red to the line. She drops to third behind Stephanie Jurek. So she loses out to her teammate, and Jamie Greubel-Poser is still the race leader with 4 sleds to go. Christoph Langen's got one more bullet in the chamber.
Yeah, one more German sled to go, and it's not the German sled he wanted to win a medal. These are his 2 athletes he's putting all the money on, and you could see the expression on his face.
The track may be getting slower. That run of Schneider's was slower than Stephanie Jurek, slower than Jamie Greubel.
But Greubel was 4/10 better than her first run. And watch the drift. She's coming over to the left side. There's the wrong way to come over on that angle. Taps before the take-on, which means then she's going to be pushed into steering more in the next curve than she wants to. Right here. You know, she was 3/400ths up there, and she ended up 3/400ths down. That mistake right there was at least part of it. The speed, look at the difference in speed, 7/10 of a kilometer in a sport dealing with hundreds of seconds.
Olympic champion Kaylee Humphries with brakewoman Melissa Lott-Holtz, 4th fastest at the start, 4th fastest at the bottom, but only 300ths off a medal after the first heat.
5:77, 200ths better than our Olympic champion from 2010, 2014. Well, this track, the lady in black, also had her crash in practice. This track doesn't care who you are.
She's taken 2 World Cup wins here and a number of other medals in her career in Altenberg, so it holds little fear for her. It's been a successful hunting ground, but then most places have for Kaylee Humphries.
This looks like a much better run, but in the first run, she lost time on the bottom part of the track, and these are textbook lines. In fact, ooh, a lot of steering there.
Little slower than the American sled, but not much.
A lot of time to throw away. Oh, she's on the wrong side of the curve there. Take on, that's why she tapped on the exit.
Good speed 14. At the bottom, and this is going to keep her in the lead. Is it enough for a medal? She takes the lead over Jamie Greubel-Poser and Lauren Gibbs. And the Olympic champion is the leader, but there are still 3 sleds to come.
Another day at the office. She gets pretty psyched up near the Olympic years, but she's dominated women's bobsledding the last 4 years.
57.97 slide. Jamie Greubel came down 57.67.
Unbelievable.
3/10 faster.
She might have the fastest time of the run. Her teammate is the only one who's got a challenge. Look at this crossover. Does she hit the take-on too early? No, look at the way the bunk collapsed on the sled. Boy.
She's in late there. She was
airborne,
late off 11,
airborne.
Late off 12.
And here too, and she bangs here because in the straightaway above, she came in late. Watch her come over and tap this wall here. Look at that. So that mistake, you know, went for about 200 yards, and she was 3,700ths up, and she ended up 2,200ths, 1,500ths. We'll see if that costs her a medal.
The Belgian bullets, Selva Willemsen and Annelies Hothoff. This might be the big day for them. We saw a really life-changing day in the women's skeleton race earlier when the nearly woman finally claimed her first gold medal, Maria Oliver. Can the Belgians now put themselves on the World Cup podium for the first time ever in women's bobsleigh?
This isn't a speed merchant in the first 50 meters. She's going to give up a lot of time here at the start. Look at that, 6:04. She's almost 25, 30 hundredths down at the start, but watch this sled accelerate. I mean, she always wins the fastest speed on the bottom part of the track, and that's why they call her the Belgian bullet.
It's not just that it's fast, she is so silky smooth.
2,800. She's another victim of the track, crashed in training. Not many sleds can say they didn't crash in training. Look at that, 2,800s, down to 1,600s.
Best speed.
This is what she does.
Quicker than even Jamie Greubel-Poser. 1:12.3, that's unbelievable.
Wow. You're looking at history.
70 miles an hour and
it's going to be
accelerating.
close. It's going to be close.
1:19.74.2 miles an hour. She's going to overhaul Kaylee Humphries in the last couple of meters.
History.
No, wow, look at that, a quarter of a second. Humphries may still take a medal, but guaranteed. Alfa Willemsen of Belgium and Annelies Hothoff claim their nation's first ever World Cup women's bobsleigh medal.
textbook. You know, it's hard. The only place she made a mistake, a little drift here, but she didn't oversteer. Speeds. It's ridiculous with that deficient start time, what she's able to do. And watch these lines in Kreisel. I mean, you know, there's a lot of talent sitting in that front seat for driving a bobsled.
Yep. And she has really produced the goods here. 2 sleds to go. Belgium leads. Kathleen Martini for Germany. More importantly, for Saxony, for Altenberg, with Janina Tischer behind her, going for gold. Only 1800ths off the lead in the first heat. It's a huge ask, even for the hometown queen.
Well, if there's anybody can negotiate this track, it's Kathleen Martini, who was born and raised about a mile away from the track.
They started nearly a 1/10 of a second slower, though, in the second heat.
That's what her deficiency is. But this is the German hope. 2200ths.
Down from 28 over the Belgians.
This is her last race on her home track. After 12 years of driving bobsled, she's going to retire. Before that, she would 9 years on the luge.
She's going to be behind, out of the Kreisel.
This would be shocking.
She is not going to beat the Belgians. 1:11, the Belgians were 1:12 and change. 1:19 at the bottom for the Belgians. What's the
Great
FES
lines.
sled got? 2 kilometers an hour too slow. It's never coming
Shocking.
back.
This is shocking.
Martini may even fall out of the medals. She does. She's in third. The Belgians are going to take at least a silver. Now, some Belgian fan at the top needs to tie Alana Myers-Taylor's shoelaces together or slip her a couple $100 just to make a mistake. Wow, Martini may not take a medal at all. Germany may not take a medal at all.
Those are Saxon green flags, and that's where Martini's from. And look, the crowd is quiet. And the 10th of 100 slower at the start. That's what cost her the medal. She had a great drive down the track. I mean, these lines, you know, are quiet. Not any mistakes. She wouldn't expect any out of her.
She had a time advantage over the Belgians. She started faster. They just drove it better than Kathleen Martini. So now we come down to deciding who gets the gold. Alana Myers-Taylor and Sherelle Garrett of the USA, or those girls, Alfa Willemsen and Annelies Hotolf on the left.
Start record in the first run, 5.58. The way it's going, this is going to be 5.56, 5.55, another start record. No.
Too windy, too cold at the top.
Well, everybody else went a couple hundreds faster, but still, they're so much faster than everybody that, I mean, this is her race to lose.
7/10 up as she sat behind the D-rings. 98 hundredths.
Only
Alana Myers-Taylor unbeaten this season.
Look how quiet this is. Oh, that's a bad skid there. As soon as I said it, I jinxed her. Exit of this curve. She's going to watch out. That's not a good line. Watch out there. Ooh, she got up high there. What? Boy, this is not clean.
It's a nervous moment or two for the US coaches. 84 hundredths up.
It's going to be less than that. She just lost 0.3 in 13 or 14.
113, 6 kilometers an hour down, but it's still going to be gold for Alana Myers-Taylor of the USA by only 11 hundredths. Gold for the USA. She remains undefeated this season in two-man racing. Alana Myers-Taylor, 3 starts, 3 wins with Sherelle Garrett. Brand new to bobsledding behind her. They have done it again. Their perfect record continues. Well, they were sanding the runners in the garage yesterday evening, watching Frozen on the DVD as they did. And now they sing their victory song once more. What a fantastic drive. It drifted away for her with a couple of errors. Look at this. Big tail skid down in the penultimate corner, corner 14. And the speed drifted away. The Belgians, comfortably the fastest thing on the track in terms of top speed, and a great pair of slides for Alfa Willemsen. Silver medal. Well, what a happy bunch they are going to be down there. Katie Humphries takes the bronze medal. Alfa Willemsen there takes the silver. And Alana Myers-Taylor takes the gold for the third time this season. Well, they were just a whisker away from the track record they set in the first heat, but with the wind blowing ever stronger at the top, that's perhaps not a surprise. Couple of little errors crept in. Long skid down the straightaway, wild through 11 and 12, tail slide through 14 and into 15, but she had enough in the tank, and she drove herself to a third straight win. The Olympic silver medalist is on a gold rush this year. She wins by 11 hundredths, not from a German, not from a fellow Olympic medalist, but from Belgium's Elfe Willemsen and Annelies Holthoff, with Kelly Humphries and Melissa Lotto in third position after fourth in the first heat. The Germans off the podium at home in Altenberg. Well, that was a breathless finish to race 3 of the Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. And Elfe Willemsen and Annelies Holthoff, after crashing in training, certainly showed in the first heat that the sled has got the pace, and Elfe had the courage and the confidence to go and attack the track. This is a track you really have to take on. Stephen Holcomb saying after training, he said, I'm probably jinxing myself by saying this, but this may be about the best condition I think I've ever raced this track on. Sometimes it's cut really hard. The take-ons and the offlets of the corners are so severe that really only the Germans can deal with it. Here, he said, it's really a smooth ride down. And it looks as though our top 3 certainly have benefited from their time on the track. Kathleen Martini in 4th place, Jamie Greubel-Poser in 5th, ahead of Stephanie Schurek and Anja Schneider-Hein. So Germans 4th, 6th and 7th. And there, driving the tractor is the Ice Meister, shaving away the top layer of the ice. They'll spritz that and build it back up again before the skeleton and bobsleigh races tomorrow, and then the 4-man race on Sunday. The green flags for Bob Team Martini. The green is the colour of this region, the former state, the former kingdom of Saxony. That's where the Altenberg track is, just a few kilometres from the border with the Czech Republic. Well, tough drivers' tracks always produce a challenge and always produce fireworks. Not for nothing is Altenberg a real classic. Produced another barnstorming race here. Another question mark for German coach Christoph Langen. No medals here for the German women. Windy Altenberg in Germany, race 3 of the Viessmann FIBT Women's Bobsleigh World Cup. And Alana Myers keeps her unbeaten record alive. She leads the standings ahead of Kaylee Humphries, who moves ahead of Jamie Greubel-Poser, Anja Schneider-Hein in 4th, and Elfe Willemsen with silver here moves up to 5th in the season rankings, ahead of Stephanie Schurek of Germany and Misha McNeill from Great Britain, still comfortably in the top 10, along with Victoria Olay, her teammate, who's sidelined at the moment with injury. Kathleen Martini, her first World Cup race. She's in 11th spot in the rankings, ahead of Maria Constantine of Romania. And the flowers for our top 3 on the right-hand side, your Olympic champion, Kaylee Humphries with Melissa Lotholtz. On the left-hand side are the Belgians. Their first time in the top 3 in a World Cup race. And in the centre, well, their third time this season on the top step of the podium, Lana Myers-Taylor and Sherelle Garrett. So congratulations to all 3 teams. Kaylee Humphries not getting a gold here, but another medal nevertheless for the Olympic champion. But Alana Myers continues her winning season. Fastest in both heats, won both heats in Lake Placid. Fastest in Calgary, won in Calgary. Fastest here in Altenberg, won in Altenberg. Not without a couple of little mistakes in the second heat. Bit of a wild ride at the fast portion of the track down the bottom, but comfortably enough to take victory here. 11 hundredths ahead of the big standout of the first and second heat, the Belgians. But it's gold again for Alana Myers-Taylor and Sherelle Garrett. And a quiet Saxon crowd with Kathleen Martini off the podium. Well, let's hear from our top three, and John Morgan is down there with them.
Okay. Team Kelly Humphreys, another bronze medal. You're still second in World Cup points. Altenberg's quite a track.
It is. I actually really enjoy this track. It's definitely one of the more challenging ones on the circuit. Very technical. You have to be ready at any point for anything. I mean, this week started out good, had a bit of a rough point. I definitely crashed in the middle, as I know quite a few people did. But, you know, overall, I had a great week. I love it here. I love this track. And, you know, onwards and upwards from here.
Congratulations. Your first run was textbook. Okay, Belgian bullets. Wow, Alfie. Can you believe this?
I can't believe this. I'm still like every second I'm like, oh my God! No, I really can't believe it. We are really, really, really happy.
Did you feel like you had two good runs?
They were average, some small mistakes, but they were normal.
Congratulations to Belgium. Historic moment. Ladies, okay. You want to talk about the second run, Alana?
It was a little dodgy, to say the least, but when you have good starts, when you have Sherelle pushing you behind you, you know, you can make a few mistakes, and we definitely did, but, you know, I'm so happy to walk away with a win. It's been a tough week for everyone, and on to Koningszee.
Sherelle, did it look like do you feel like a rough ride, that second run?
You know what? Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but I mean, it still felt fast, and it was worth it.
Hey, I don't want to criticize gold medal.
Yes.
Gold medal and a start record as well for Sherelle Gatt and Alana Myers-Taylor. Alpha Willemsen with Annelies Hothoff behind her taking the silver, and the bronze medal going to Kaylee Humphreys and Melissa Lotholtz. Three new non-German finishers on the podium here. You don't often get that in Altenberg. Well, that's it then for the women's bobsleigh until Koningszee Bavaria next week, a very different track. From John Morgan, Martin Haven and the rest of the crew here, we'll see you then. Bye for now.